Alright, what's good everyone? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I want to talk about consoles versus PCs. So let's get into it. So basically, I think the overall consensus nowadays is that PC gaming is better than console gaming. There's so many different things you can do on PC that you can't do on consoles. You can always upgrade your PC, etc. Like PC gaming is just more open end. So nowadays, I feel like more and more people are hopping on PC gaming, even with these handheld PCs coming out, like this, the Legion Go. You got the ROG Ally X, the MSI Claw, you got the Steam Deck that started it all, and so many different handheld PCs. And people are hopping on that, and you know, people are saying like gaming on a PC is just better in general than a console. And you know, it's true to an extent. I'm definitely a person who agrees, and I think everyone should just buy a PC if you want to like game to the highest level and have the most options. However, as somebody who uses both PC and a console like the Switch, there are some drawbacks to PC gaming that I don't think people cover a lot of times when it comes to PC gaming. Like for example, PC gaming is not as simplified or straightforward as console gaming. So if I want to play, let's say Sonic Frontiers on my Legion Go, before I can actually play the game, I have to tweak the settings and make sure that it runs right. And usually that will take, it can take a couple minutes, it can take an hour depending on what game it is and if you run into any issues and stuff like that. So when I first got the Legion Go, Sonic Frontiers actually didn't work at all. Like it was just glitched. And I think that was like, it was a glitch from the developers. It wasn't necessarily the Legion Go itself, but I wasn't able to play the game. Whereas if I want to play Sonic Frontiers on the Nintendo Switch, I could just put in the cartridge and start playing the game very easily. And if I want to play on the TV, just put the Switch in the dock and I can play on the TV. Very simple, very easy. All right, so I was filming another video and I just realized this is the perfect example of what I've been talking about when it comes to PC gaming versus console gaming. ROG Ally X playing Sonic Generations, and then a Nintendo Switch playing Sonic Generations. Look what happens when I plug the ROG Ally X with Sonic Generations already open into an external screen. I'm just gonna navigate back to the game. The game is gonna crash, it's not gonna work, because you can't transition from the built-in screen to the TV screen with this game that easily. All right, so the same scenario, Nintendo Switch, going into the dock, connected, boom. The Switch is instantly on the TV. Super easy to start playing. I can take the controllers off the Switch and use them, or I can just use my other controller that was already chilling around. Like, that's a W for console gaming, especially Nintendo Switch, the versatility, it just works. And I know Sonic Frontiers looks like garbage on the Switch, but it actually runs pretty decently and it's pretty stable enough for me personally, and I can play through the game like that. I mean, a lot of times with consoles, you're gonna have, you know, lower graphics. The graphics are not gonna be as good as PC gaming, but the reason why consoles are so successful and why they still have a place in the market right now is because of the ease of use, the convenience, how simplified it is. A PC, like I said, depends on the games you're playing, but you have to know how to do certain things, or you have to Google constantly. Like, I was trying to play, you know, games on an external screen on my TV with the Legion Go. And so I plugged it in, you know, and it connects obviously because it's a computer. But then playing certain games, you have to tweak a bunch of settings, and some games were just not working. So I had to like go on Google and figure out why it's not working. The sizing issues because of the screen size of the native screen, and then compared to the external screen that I was trying to play on as well. And then I had issues with my Bluetooth controllers just not connecting properly to the Legion Go, to the computer. And there's just a bunch of different things that kept coming up. Whereas if I want to play a game on the Nintendo Switch, I literally just turn it on and start playing. So that's one thing, the ease of use, the convenience. That is something that I don't think a lot of PC gamers really take into consideration when they think about, you know, everybody, like the whole market. Because not everybody is like a person who wants to go on Google and you know, research and try to problem solve and figure out things. Not everybody knows how gaming on PC works. So when you're talking about like PC gaming being the best for everybody, I don't think it's a one-size-fits-all solution. And the Steam Deck is kind of a little bit better in that regard because it has more quality of life things. Like for example, you can put your Steam Deck into power saving mode and the game will still be open. It doesn't close the game or crash like it would on a PC or a Windows handheld PC. So Steam Deck is one step closer to, you know, PC gaming being more consumer friendly and more accessible to more people. But at the end of the day, you still got to tweak things with the Steam Deck, and it's not just a simple thing. Like I said, depending on the game, you can get started with the Steam Deck and other handheld PCs and PC gaming in general, like just right away. But at the same time, you can run into issues. Another thing that people don't talk about enough, I feel like, with consoles versus PC is the different platforms in which you have to download the games from or like buy the games from. So for example, you have a bunch of different launchers. You have the EA launcher, you have Xbox Game Pass, you have Steam, which most people use when you have a PC because it has all the games. Then let's say you play different games, like for example, Riot Games, you play League of Legends, that's another launcher. Like there's a lot of different launchers on your PC to play different games. Whereas on a console, all the games that are released on the console will go through the app store of the console. So if it's an EA game, if it's a 2K Sports, if it's all these different brands, all these different studios that produce these games, companies, if those games are on the console, then it's just going to be on the console. It's going to be accessible through the app store of the console, which makes it super simplified compared to having to download a bunch of launchers to access different games. I think there's like slowly certain companies that are kind of monopolizing on certain kinds of games. So you might just end up playing all your games on one launcher anyways. And there's different workarounds, like you can have a front end thing to kind of mimic a launcher like a Nintendo Switch launcher, which combines your Steam games, your Xbox games, etc. all in one place. And that's cool. But that's also another thing that the consumer, the user has to do and set up themselves and, watch a tutorial on YouTube or go on Google to figure out. Whereas on the Switch, I can play Sonic games, I can play Mario games, I can play even GTA. It has the classic remake trilogy on here. I can play that. I can play a bunch of different games from different developers all in one place. If I have a PS5, I can play, a bunch of different games from different developers, all straight from the PS Marketplace, or I can go buy the physical game for cheaper on Facebook Marketplace. So you have the option of physical games as well, which it definitely reduces the cost of gaming for sure, and allows you to, even trade your games, get rid of them, etc. There's that too. I'll get into that later, but just the ease of having all your games in one place and the compatibility just being one thing. Like you turn on your console, put in the game, or you open up the app if it's downloaded on your console, and that's it. On PC, you gotta open up this launcher to play this game. You gotta open up that launcher to play this game. There's just a bunch of different launchers. So people don't really talk about that enough when you're talking about like, oh, just get a PC, bro. Because like I said, not everybody's like that. Like I personally don't mind figuring out things. I love tinkering and, trying to understand things, trying to get things to work. I hate when things don't work, but I don't mind problem solving. That's just me. But for people, especially the world we live in, so busy, people are parents. I'm a parent, a new parent now. And, you might not have time to sit down and like, this is something people need to put in perspective too. So let's say you have just 1 hour in a day to play games, to sit down, relax and play games. And now you go on your computer and you're trying to play a game and you're running into an error that wasn't there before. Because that can just happen on Windows, on PC. That error, it could either be like a quick fix, you go on YouTube, whatever, Google, and fix it in like 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Or it can literally waste your whole hour that you wanted to sit down and play, games and just relax, de-stress from life. So that's the thing, the crazy perspective that you gotta think about. Like you can either have a guaranteed gaming experience where you sit down and you put your Nintendo Switch on the dock and you know it's gonna work, or you turn on a PS5, you know what to expect from the PS5, it's just gonna work the same way. Or, you have your Windows and it should work most of the time, but like randomly it could just stop working. And then you got to figure out why it's not working, and then easily waste the whole hour. Or even if it's like 10 minutes of the hour, that's still 10 minutes of, the time that you were going to use to play games. That's still time subtracted if you don't have a lot of time to game. So there's a time aspect of, how much time people have to sit down and figure out these things. And then the other aspect is that console gaming, you can buy physical cartridges, physical CDs, and do a lot with that. Like for me, I have a lot of friends that, have Switches. And so whenever they're like, yo, you have this game, and if I have it, I give it to them. They can borrow the game, they can play it as long as they want, and then give it back whenever, type of thing. So it's like you can give people your games to borrow, to have. Like let's say I beat a game, now I can repackage that and give it to somebody as a gift if I want to, or I can let them use it. Or I can also sell it in the future if I want to. Whereas on PC, if you buy a game, a digital copy of a game, it's just on your PC. And I guess you can put it on other PCs, but it's not exactly the same as a cartridge or a CD that you have, because, there's often like limitations in terms of like you know, how many PCs your account can be logged onto or stuff like that, how many PCs you can download the software onto. There's digital limitations as well, and it's just not as easy because now you got to log in and put all your information and stuff like that. It's not as simple as just dropping the files onto another computer. So with consoles, I can share my games very easily if I have the physical versions, and even the digital versions. Sometimes, like, I know PlayStation has like game share and stuff like that. Even on the Switch, you can log into your account on other Switches and they can play your games on while connected to the internet, but not at the same time as you. So there's different ways of sharing your digital games on console, but the fact that you can share your physical games is a huge bonus, and I think it's a huge benefit. Because, like, let's say you, for some reason, you stop playing games, you're bored of the games that you bought and stuff like that. At least instead of being stuck on your digital accounts, your online account, now you can give them away or sell them. So I think that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool aspect. Because now, look, my wife and I, we still have our Nintendo DSs, 3DS, DSi, DS Lite. We have all those, and we have some of the games that we had as kids, as from our childhood, and we can still play those things till this day. And now when our daughter is older, she can now play those games as well. So there is that aspect as well. So now I know I've been talking in the favor of consoles a lot this whole video, but I do believe that PC gaming is like the future, in a sense of like the freedom and the different things you can do, the capabilities of PCs. However, I think PC gaming doesn't necessarily replace console gaming because they're two different markets, two different, I feel like, purposes. Like, console gaming is more for like just ease of use to family and just simplifying the experience to the user, whereas PC gaming is like, here's everything, now you can choose how you want to use it, type of thing. There's more freedom, but then there's more things you got to deal with and think about. So it's different, and also you need significantly more powerful PCs to play your games at a good experience, or like a good FPS. And I know consoles are only starting to ramp up nowadays with the PS5 Pro and the Xbox, but I feel like console gaming, usually when a developer cares enough, you can expect like a 30 FPS, a stable 30 FPS, and then even a decent 60 FPS experience on consoles. Whereas on a PC, if you want a 60 FPS experience, you're gonna have to tweak settings, and you're gonna have to figure out, what's things to lower, like the shadows, or if you have a good enough GPU, then you're good. But if you have a good enough GPU, then you probably spent over $1,000 more than the console. So there's pros and cons for both sides, but I feel like console gaming is becoming slightly underrated nowadays, which is kind of interesting, because in the past it was everything, and people were saying like Xbox or PlayStation or whatever, but now console gaming is kind of becoming underrated, and people are saying to hop on PC without really talking about these things. So anyways, the reason why I made this video is because I just want to share my thoughts on the pros and cons versus having a console and a PC. And to be honest, just get both, in my opinion. If you can't afford to get the console that you want to get, then, and the PC as well, then get both. I think that's just the best option, to have access to all the games. And like, the biggest thing too is like, what are your friends playing? If your friends are playing Nintendo Switch games, then just buy a Switch so you can play with them, and then you can have your PC gaming for your solo gaming sessions. Or if all your friends are on PC, then you don't have to worry about consoles, because all the games will drop on PC anyways, and you can play with your friends like that. If your friends are on PlayStation, then yeah, you gotta think about that. If you want to play with your friends, then you gotta buy a PS5 or whatever, even a PS4, because some games are still compatible to play with your friends. So, what comes down to what you value. I like playing with my friends, so I'll always have a Nintendo console, the latest Nintendo console, because I like playing with my friends and my family members even. And then I don't really play PlayStation. I don't have a PlayStation, I don't have an Xbox, so I'm not really on either of those sides. But I might get a PlayStation in the future, because some of my friends actually play on PlayStation, and yeah, who knows. But the one thing I always have though is a PC. Like, that's just always gonna be in my arsenal, whether it's a handheld PC or a gaming PC. I'm definitely gonna build one of those in the future, considering even a gaming laptop in the future as well, just because I like portability. And yeah, the handheld PCs are also getting better, so there's a lot to think about and look forward to when it comes to gaming in general. That was my thoughts on console gaming versus PC gaming. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Until the next video, we are out. Peace.